So welcome back to the third video on the Picanto Xline. As you knew on the last video, if you had watched it, that we got to put in the bumper on, and we found that the headlight frame did actually have a slight bend to it, because when we were offering the parts up, they just didn't align properly. This is what you'll be seeing in this video, is the replacement of that headlight frame. Again, we'll do a montage of that, but also we'll be able to get the bumper on. And also we're going to show you how to do some basic plastic repairs on things like broken under trays and things like that. So hopefully you find it interesting and useful. But yeah, like and subscribe, and we'll get into it. Cheers. So the best course of action, if we're going to remove the headlight frame, is to degas the vehicle again of the refrigerant. If you notice, I regassed it in the last video, but obviously at this point I didn't know whether I was going to take the condenser off or not, so decided to degas the vehicle anyway. So started to take it apart, and you can see basically where the damage is. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it in the video, but certainly comparing the headlight frame from the old one to the new one, you can see there's a fair bend in it. It's a bit difficult to see with the naked eye, but it will speed this footage up so you can see how to take the headlight frame off. If it's good for future reference, have a watch. So at this point I decided to try and get the old headlight frame out without removing the radiator and condenser. It certainly looked like the condenser and the radiator could be supported by the radiator pipes without causing any stress on the AC condenser lines, because they're flexi. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a good try to see if I can get the radiator frame, the headlight frame out. Just at the moment, just removing the bottom tray. As you can see, there's a crack in the tray and a missing part. This is what we're going to repair later on in the video. So we'll show you how to do some plastic repairs, some basic stable plastic repairs on non-cosmetic items like under trays and things. It can save a bit of money here and there, and certainly the rest of the tray was absolutely fine. It was only this little area which was damaged. But yeah, we'll show you that in a minute. So here we're just removing the new front crash member. This was obviously replaced and put on the car before we decided to redo the headlight frame. So here's the comparison between the two headlight frames, the old one being on the left and the new one being on the right. You can see that there's a fair bend in the in one of the arms there. If you pause the video and have a look, you can definitely tell that there's some issues there. Putting the headlight frame, the new one, back on, it's a bit of a fiddle, a bit more of a fiddle than it would have been if I took the radiators off, but it took such a long time to actually bleed the cooling system on this car. I didn't really want to take the radiator off again. It looks like I saved myself some time anyway, because it was only it was possible to do it without having to take all that off. So on a side note here, there was a big difference when installing the headlights. There wasn't any pressure on the radiator frame on the headlight itself. The actual headlight positions the radiator frame. It's an integral part to how it's all positioned. So certainly the other headlight, which we'll see in a minute, before you had to like move the frame. In hindsight, that would have been a telltale, and that's obviously what we came across. It was like, well, this isn't quite correct. But obviously the new headlight that goes in is absolutely fine without having to push anything or pull anything. So it's pretty good. So here we go into the plastic repair. As with anything, it was covered in mud, so the best thing to do is to clean it up beforehand. I find certainly on these like more intricate parts, using an old paintbrush with a little bit of soapy water helps get all the mud and stuff out of the area. It's mainly just to see where the cracks are, if there's any further damage, and if you are going to use some sort of adhesive, it keeps the area nice and clean, so you're not like, so you're going to get the best bond possible. After wiping it down with a little microfiber cloth, you can see it came out quite nice. But it's just mainly to see where the crack is and see which is the best sort of way of repairing this one, really. So this is a fairly important part, especially if you're going to use adhesive, mainly just to dry it off. In case you use any adhesive, you don't want any moisture to be in the cracks or anything. But yeah, the next best thing to do is to inspect the crack, see where the stress areas are, and then see how it goes back together. So you get it in the right position. It's a little bit of fiddling here and there, but once you get it, you know how it goes back. And then the best thing to do is to secure the most floppy part first. So here we're going to turn it upside down, and this corner where my hand is right now, we're going to go and attack that straight away, and that will keep it all in place. You have different types of staples, and depending on what the crack is, it depends on what type of staple it is. We're going to use two different types. We're going to use this little wiggly one. It doesn't need to be that hot to go into the plastic. The only thing I would say is to be wary of how much you push into the plastic. It melts very, very quickly, and it's very easy to push the whole staple through the part. Not so much of a problem on like an under tray like this, but certainly if it's a bumper repair, you don't want to be, causing yourself more hassle by pushing the plastic or pushing the metal through the plastic. It's always good to grind down the little parts that are left on the staples. It's just so anyone who's working on the vehicle in the future doesn't end up getting spiked by it. Whilst the staple is good enough on its own, I like to add a little bit of glue into the gully. It just helps keep them in place. Not that I've noticed them ever come out in all the repairs that I've done. It's just as a little general bit of further protection that I like to do. As you can see, we're going to do this repair on the actual missing part. We're going to use the wider staples of this one. What we've done is we've applied a little bit of super glue, mainly just to hold it in place whilst we're stapling it. So just another note on the crack here. Best thing to do to stop the cracks moving any further on, you would find the end of the crack and then you would install the staple over the end of the crack. So I didn't actually get a good picture of this on the video, unfortunately, but you do it so there's no chance of that crack moving apart anymore. Again, it's just showing that we're grinding down the little tabs that are left over. As you can see with this, it's as strong as it was before, and the repair looks pretty good. Here, I mean, it's not the prettiest repair on the other side, but you're not going to see that anyway. And certainly, it saves yourself some money, doesn't it? So. And finally, the bumper that we built up in the last episode is going on the vehicle. Bumpers are very easy to fit these days. They're fairly straightforward and self-explanatory. Usually held in by wing clips, a few bolts, and a few plastic rivets. So on this one, it was no different. Went on very nicely and lined up lovely. So that's the Picanto finally finished. After a little bit of setback with the headlight frame, it's all gone back together very nicely, and as you can see, all very nicely lined up. So yeah, apart from one more part which we're waiting for, which is a replacement front number plate, because that was missing with the vehicle, and a road test, then she's good to go. But yeah, we're on to our next project, which will be a red Ford Fiesta. I know, really exciting, but we'll get there with the more exciting vehicles. But one of the things I want to do on this channel is to demystify the stigma attached to category N cars, because I mean, what they're written off for these days is simply astounding, and I mean astounding in the way that it's laughable actually with what a car can be written off for. You'll see this in the Fiesta one that I'm coming up to next, because the damage on it is incredibly light, and yet, you know, they've decided to write it off. There are reasons for it when it comes to insurance companies, but yeah, we'll go through all that. We'll go through the Fiesta when we're doing that. It'd be nice actually, because we are starting the Fiesta on the channel, and you'll see it before, and also you'll see the progress all the way through. It should be a fairly quick one, because it is basically just a bumper, as well as a bit of paint on the rear quarter. But yeah, it should be good. Then we'll be getting in, hopefully, another vehicle. Maybe a bit more exciting this time. But thanks very much for looking and watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Put everything on the line. Hey, so if you love, let's go. Overtake, we're out on the open road.
So welcome to the third video in the series of the Picanto. So welcome back, and